It is indeed an honor and privilege to have you to this panel discussion. Shall we all give him a big hand of welcome?
With cheerful hands on dais, please. Thank you, sir. He held the chairmanship of the Institute from 2004 to 2010. He is a member of the Regional Advisory Committee of the Department of Income Tax, Tiruchirappalli, till date. He is a member and Regional Advisor, Committee and Public Grievance of the Department of Central Excise and Service Tax, Tiruchirappalli, till date. And he is a member of the Information Technology Committee of the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. Please put our hands to welcome our moderator for the day, Mr. Dalanathan, on the dais, please.
I welcome all this to the session on budget analysis. This institution, Gnanam School of Business and Chamber of Commerce, Tanjavur, has arranged a very big program on this budget. Maybe to analyze in depth what Mr. Chidambaram may not have analyzed. We will be going ahead. The panel members will be making a presentation for a short duration of 10 minutes each, and then we'll go ahead with the panel discussion. A presentation by each of the members will be. I request.
What kind of budget did the FM present on 28/2? There are as many opinions as there are people in the country. Is it an out-of-the-box budget? Probably not. Growth-oriented? Maybe yes. Leaves a lot to be desired, given the pre-budget hype, as President Mr. Padmanabhan said. Yes. Is it unimaginative, anti-people, as some opposition parties have said? Certainly not. A damn squib? No. A total disappointment? No. Did the FM miss a golden opportunity to present a golden budget? Or, in that process, he missed a trick or two? The answer possibly is yes and no. To analyze the above points, we need to examine the contextual factors, the context in which the FM presented the budget, and the factors which weighed in his mind predominantly. They are, like Padmanabhan said, the declining GDP, progressively down from 9% plus to 5% plus. Continuously uncomfortable inflation situation, still hovering above 6%. Growing fiscal deficit, rupees 5,20,000 crores plus in 2012-13, projected 5,40,000 crores in 2013-14. This is a gap between the total expenditure of the government minus the total receipts, excluding the borrowings. That is the definition of fiscal deficit. Threatening CAD, current account deficit, mainly arising from import of crude and petroleum products, import of edible oil, import of coal for the power plants, And finally, import of gold, so about 10% or so. Now, I am told the gap this year of CAD is going to be $75 billion. $75 billion. And at this rate, the entire foreign exchange reserves would get wiped out maybe in about 3 years' time. We're back to square one of having a balance of payment problem. As a consequence of all the above, the country is facing the danger of the Damocles sword of a possible rating downgrade from the Moody's and the Standard & Poor. Now, when that happens, if it happens, one can imagine the Pandora box would be open and all hell will break loose, I can tell you. Your borrowing costs will go up, the institutional investors will pull out, the stock market will crash, the rupee value will get depreciated to a great extent, and we would face tremendous difficulties. All the business will face tremendous difficulties in case of a rating downgrade, which the firm is trying to avoid at any cost. In fact, he did his roadshow in Europe and other places, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Europe, precisely for this reason. Talk to the possible investors and inviting them to come and invest in India so that, the CAD position would improve and a possible downgrade could be avoided. Now, what are the constraints faced by the firm? We know the budget details. All of us have studied in the papers. The constraints facing the firm was his economic space, hemmed in by all sides by all these challenges, was very limited. He couldn't move very freely with regard to his budget proposals. It's like being between the devil and the deep sea. Or if you don't like the devil, the word devil, you can say between the rock and a hard place. Damned if he did something, damned if he did not do something. That's a kind of choice. The Hobson's choice, they say, which is no choice at all, which was facing the firm. Now, he had to perform a fine, delicate, possibly Chinese acrobatic balancing act, trying to humor almost all segments of the stakeholders in the economy. This is what he has tried to do. Now, would you like to be in his shoes? I certainly would not. Now, in order to keep the India growth story intact and going, the India growth story has been going rounds, for the past few years. He needed to take the rough with the smooth and encourage investment, both domestic and foreign, the latter in the form of FII and FDI, so that the GDP could grow at whatever rates they have projected. The chief economic advisor said it could be between 6.1 to 6.7% come 2013-14, and create new employment opportunities for people, and consequently reduce the fisc and also improve the CAD. Now, this is precisely what he has sought to achieve. So I may not agree with his budget proposals because it has not satisfied my anticipations. It has not satisfied my requirements and so on. But again, taking this overall picture of the constraints that he had, I said, he had very little maneuvering room to do. If he raised the taxes, investments are not going to come in. If he indulged in expenditure, possibly the inflation will get worse. And then fiscal deficit will get worse. So he has to raise resources a little bit. He has to allocate funds to various sectors which he thought, were necessary and so on. Now, he has managed to contain the fisc, fixing the fisc, they say, at 5.2% for the year 2012-13, and he has projected 4.8% of the GDP as a possible fiscal deficit for 2013-14. The chief economic advisor said the GDP might grow between 6.1 to 6.7%. They have given themselves a range. Last year they did not. Last year they gave an absolute percentage figure. This year, having seen that, last year's projections have got to be, progressively brought down. This year they said 6.1 to 6.7%. To narrow down the CAD, you can't restrict or prevent the import of crude. The economy will come to a grinding halt. You can't stop import of coal. You can't stop import of edible oil. Maybe you can restrict the import of gold to some extent if citizens, people, especially the ladies, cooperate. This is what the FM has been saying. If you stop gold import or not buy jewelry for 1 year, he said the CAD situation will greatly improve. Now, that is something, a wish which he has expressed, but I don't know it's possible for compliance. To rein in inflation by judicious expenditure control and removing supply side bottlenecks. Retain and indeed try to improve the country's rating. Now, from all this, what are the positive takeaways from the budget? How does it promote growth and development? That's what we are interested in. Now, I'll briefly touch upon things which you already know. In order to improve the investment environment, the investment allowance has been revived again. 15% of investment allowance. Investment for more than 100 crores and all. TUF for textile industry, technology upgradation fund has been continued. Term loans for handlooms or bankers, Raghu Chissari will give us 6%. There's revisit the oil exploration policy. They said, from the profit sharing model to revenue sharing model. Readymade government industry has been given certain concessions, and then they also encourage the what is called non-conventional energy by giving certain incentives. Now, most important and most interesting thing is in one of the management books by name Mega Trends by Naisbitt, he talked about the emergence of women as what is called a power, especially in Asia and East Asia. So from traditionally male-dominated society like India to emergence of women, the FMO has recognized there will be all women bank of the women, for the women, and managed by the women. 1,000 crores he has allotted for kickstarting this bank, which might possibly get inaugurated during this year. Now here, all women-related activities, including self-employment, groups of women, etc., would get financed in these women branches. Now, Raghu Chissari, be ready for competition. There's a Nirbhaya fund, 1,000 crores, in order to restore the dignity of women, security of the women, safety of the women in public. Nirbhaya fund. Nirbhaya means no fear. Baggage allowance, FM knows the psychology of women, so he's increased the baggage allowance for gold jewelry to 100,000 rupees. Then housing to get a boost. There's a rural housing fund, 6,000 crores will be refinanced by what is called the National Housing Bank. There's an urban housing fund for over 2,000 crores. These are all, like to help industries like cement industry, steel industry, structural industry. Once the housing activities, start improving, all segments of the economy, related segments of the economy would get what is called a boost up. Infra boost, 50,000 crores of infra bonds is what has been proposed by the FM, which will again go to finance the infrastructure sector. There will be a road regulatory authority, which we don't have now, in order to have faster clearances, the bottlenecks in the road projects. Now road projects are stuck up for various reasons, environmental, forest clearances, so on and so forth and all. The infra debt funds are being increased. NABARD is allotted 5,000 crores for building warehouses, or refinancing building warehouses in the panchayat areas. A district like Tanjavur should get benefited by this because the warehouses are not going to be in metropolitan or in town, it's going to be each and every panchayat. So that, the food grains grown in that particular village can get stored in those places and all that. 5,000 crores are being earmarked for that. Now coming to financial sector, which is my own. Now 14,000 crores of additional capital, recapitalization of banks, which means banks can lend more money to business people, to SMEs, to industrial sector, to traders, to constructions, and so on and so forth. Because the capital adequacy ratio would get improved. Now, he also said that there will be an ATM in each and every branch of the bank. Now, whether it's feasible, logistics would permit this, that's a different thing. He has made a policy announcement. I think the bank managements and the chairman would see to it that ATMs are installed, subject to availability of the machines, of course, in each and every branch of the bank. Now, banks can sell all insurance policies. Now, there is a restriction from IRDA that they can sell only one life insurance and one general insurance policy of a company. Now, he has freed it. Banks can offer all insurance policies of all insurance companies and also sell micro insurance policies. Now, licensing of new banks, the policy has already been announced by the Reserve Bank of India guidelines, and which would get underway. Now, a lot of incentives for agriculture. The bank ready to go up from 5.75 to 7 lakh crores, and then outlays have been increased and so on. Kudamkulam will get 150 crores as a rehab measure. Now the WIP formula, WYP formula, is adopted by the FAM, women, youth, and the poor. WIP. So whether this will deliver him the result, I don't know. Institution like this, there's a skill development fund, 1,000 crores. Institution like this can really develop the skill of people, get the certification and so on and all that, and play a very crucial role in what is called upgrading the skills of youth. Management institute like this, public transportation, he said 10,000 new buses would be financed under JNURM, what is called scheme. Now, there are some negative takeaways which I am not going to touch because they are not much, not worth mentioning in any case. Now, concluding, what is the bottom line? How do we pursue this? Now, taking the contextual factors I said, he has definitely what is called used his contextual intelligence and did not allow the situation to come to a head. And he has tried to what is called bring the house to order. We must give him his due, but he has tried to stitch in time so that the nation can be saved from the future ordeals and keep its head above water. I would think that he has put his best foot forward